Today, this video is going to be a reaction on what Max1 and other YouTubers in Nyabohanse have said about where they are as far as the location of Nyabohanse and what it means to you as a Westerner in trying to find out if they're telling the truth or not about their location. Let's go. Okay, thank you everybody for watching Kung Fu Fanta. This is your host, Mr. Nice, and today I'm just gonna start out by saying this is not a video to try to say that anybody in the village is lying, saying that anybody in the village is being truthful. What I'm trying to do here is educate people from the West, especially the West, who are confused about locations that are being talked about and the news saying something else. So basically, when Max1 came out with the video not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago already, about some people who had passed away because they drank some illicit brew that was actually poisoned, he was at the hospital prior to that happening with Grandpa, and as well as the same day when some of the victims from that, he brought Grandpa again back to that same hospital, and they were there as well. So to start out with that, he also had a video just a few days ago with the MCA of Nyabohanse talking about the situation with the borehole and what's really going on. Now, after that gentleman left in the video, Max1 talked about if you go in one direction 5 minutes, you're in one village. You go in the other direction in 10 minutes, you're in another village. So basically, Nyabohanse is a town. Nyabohanse is a marketplace. It is not really a village, but people will call it a village because that's what they're used to saying. Same thing in Nanyuki. If you could see Nanyuki on the map there, just under the word Kenya, a little bit to the left, that is a town that is at the foot of Mount Kenya. Very popular place. That is where the Kenyan military is located. And even in Nanyuki and many other places in Kenya, it's the same setup like Max1 was saying. You have to go through, and other YouTubers from that area, you have to go through one village to get to another village. It's no different in Nanyuki. And Nanyuki is a town, but it's surrounded by villages. So with that said, I have the experience in Kenya, and I've never been to Nyabohanse, so I'll make that clear now. I've never been there yet. I hope to go there. I plan to go there, so I hope to go there someday. And you know, it's a beautiful place, and I do give it up to Marwa for being as infamous that he is. He's not famous, but he's infamous, and going back there to let us all know where Nyabohanse is. But this video really is to educate people about locations where A.M. Carroll, Max1, and other YouTubers have talked about, and you may not quite understand because you don't have the experience on the ground like I do when it comes to these naming conventions of villages. So to start out with, we want to go to the county. So Nyabohanse is in what county? So we have had other people, and especially A.M. Carroll, say it's in Migori County, right? So as you can see, I've already went to Migori County on here, and it's highlighted with a red border. That is Migori County. It's a very big county. There is the town in Migori that A.M. Carroll talks about going to about once a month or so. And then we have down here, this is the border between Kenya and Tanzania. And we have Isebania. Now Isebania, it's ISI for the first three letters. You might see in videos it's ISE, same pronunciation. It's the same place. So if I go ahead and just type in even ISE spelling, right? You can see I've already done that. It's going to go straight to that location. You can see where it's been tagged with ISI. It's the same thing. Let's go ahead and go into 3D mode so you can get a little better overlay of the land. And you can see it's gray in that area because it's a lot of buildings surrounded by lush farmland. You can see all that farmland on both sides of Kenya and Tanzania. So this is a farming community that surrounds the town. They depend mainly on farming for their livelihoods down there. And this is where probably most of the food comes from throughout Kenya is Western. This is part of Western Kenya, by the way. So let's go ahead and grab it here. And I want to point out here where the border is in this town. And if you go all the way to about right here, if you really look at it and you're used to looking at maps quite a bit like I do, that looks like it's going to be about maybe 7 to 8 minutes to walk from the border to get to this cross junction right here. It's not a T junction, it's a cross junction right here from what it looks like. Let me just zoom in there and make sure I'm right, or if I'm wrong. No, it is a T-junction. There is no road going over here. So going off there and off there. And this is the road that leads to Nyabohanse. So let's go ahead and look at another place, the actual place that was mentioned, the actual village that was mentioned mainly in the news. I can't pronounce it, but as you can see here, I typed it in. Now there is no town with that name, but it is a village. And you can see here there's a secondary school with that name, right? And there's one other place with that name in this area, but this is a village. And it even says over here, secondary school in Suba Kura. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Now let's go ahead and just go there to see the border of this town where this village is, where at least 4 to 8 people from this village was taken to the hospital where Max 1 took the grandpa to get some help twice. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that in. All right, so now you're going to see the red border, and we're going to zoom out a little bit so we get a better field of view of where it's located. Okay, so again, we have the border down here. This is where that village is, and this village, along with all the other villages, and this village is in this particular town. Here's Nyabohanse over here that I'm circling. You can see the gray area where you can tell there's buildings, and over here, close to this primary school, around this little area right here is where Ayamarwa's mansion is located. So that's probably about an 8-minute walk to Nyabohanse. And all these communities belong to Nyabohanse. Nyabohanse is a town, a marketplace. Okay, so now let's finally go to Nyabohanse itself on this map. And we're using 2 technologies today. We're using Google Earth right now, and then we're going to finally end up on Google Maps, where I'm going to do a street tour, and because they work a little bit differently, but for what I'm doing at this moment, Google Earth is a little bit better. So we'll go to Nyabohanse. Nyabohanse is right there. Okay, and you can see on the list on the left here, we got a high school, a shopping center, children's rescue center, and then a boys boarding school. So let's go ahead and move the sidebar out of there. All right, and you can already see on the map that this is where most of the buildings in the area are concentrated. So over here, you know, in this general area, that right there is actually Marwa's mansion right there, the big ugly square looking building. In my opinion, it's just ugly looking. Doesn't look too bad in the front, but on the top it looks ugly. But anyway, that's my opinion. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And I want to show you right here, where you see this brown area right here, that is the construction site of Davy Jr. That is his construction site where they used to live, you know, before Ayamarwa came back to the village with the money that he made from YouTube and had built the parents' home. This is where they used to live. And this is where the borehole was dug by the government, not by Davy Jr. This is Jobless Corner, where you see this tree right here. This is that building next to Jobless Corner. This is the same government-owned road that the government owns. Davy Jr. does not own it. And both of them have been down this way to film. So this is the location. This is that big light tower, but this might be an older photo because the light tower that Max 1 showed looks very brand new. And I did do a close-up on this one from the image. I think it was 2021. It was an older one. It was kind of rusted. So this is all that area. So let's go ahead and head over to Google Maps, and we'll do this little street view. And again, this is not to prove anybody wrong or anybody right. And if anybody from this village, if there's anything that I get wrong, go ahead and correct me down in the comment section, because there's a lot of people from the West that just don't understand what you mean by the village. So all these villages that surround Nyabohanse, just like in Nanyuki, they belong to that community. So when Max 1 said some people, you know, were hurt in Nyabohanse, it's basically the general area, not necessarily this location right here. So let's go ahead and head over to Google Maps. Okay, so again, here is Nyabohanse. It is a town. It is a marketplace. It's not officially a village, but people will call it a village. And so it's known as that. There's nothing wrong with calling it a village. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a quick street view. This is the main road, Isabania Magori Road. And this is the one that leads to the border in this direction. And it leads to Magori Town going in the other direction. And over here, again, is where Marwa lives. And then over here is the main marketplace. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And we'll do this little street tour here. And we'll get into the 3D. If it will allow me, I think I got to get over here on the road. Let's move that out of the way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, I won't go all the way on the road. Excuse me, won't zoom all the way in like this unless you get on a road that actual photos were taken. Okay, so real quick, I just want to go this way, just a short little run over here to pretty close to where the buildings in this direction. And this is the direction heading to the border. Okay, so let's go back to where the main center is, where and by the way, Michele Ponte has been on this road. Many other YouTubers in this area have been on this road. People have visited from other parts of Kenya have shown this road, so it should look familiar to some of you that are watching from the US, UK, and other places. So we're going down here. We're gonna get to a spot where we can look to the left and we can see where the borehole location, I think, yeah, this should be it. Let's go this way. Okay, yeah. So if you see that home right there, that is the compound that's next to Davy Jr.'s, which should be right about there. And right about here is where Java's Corner is. And right behind here is where the borehole is. So let's go back this way. We're almost done here. I just want everybody to get a better understanding. This video is really just to help you guys out that don't have experience in Kenya, like me and other people do, who visit these places and are used to these naming conventions. Because I can tell you, when I was first in Nanyuki, I was confused too about going from a village through the town of Nanyuki and then to another village and then to another village to get to another village. So it's just something you have to get used to, but it is a real thing. It's a very real thing. Okay, so we're going to stop at this T-junction and go back. And so this is about the end of the video. I hope this helped you out if anybody was confused. And basically, I broke it down from Kenya to the county to the border and the surrounding places that surround Nyabohanse. And if you haven't really used Google Earth that much, or you're not used to using Google Maps outside of the US or whatever country you're from, just think about, and you're trying to find a place, and if it's available on a map and you can't find it, just try to think of different naming conventions. Maybe watch some videos that people are calling certain places, and try inputting those names in the search. And this particular this particular route that I'm taking right now, as you can see up here, this was taken in December of 2021. These photos, the last they were taken was 2021. So the borehole obviously then was not there, but we did see the compound and everything on Google Maps of Davy Jr.'s place where him and his family used to live, which is right there. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching Kung Fu Fanta. Please let me know what you think down in the comments section. This is Mr. Nice, the host of the show. And on that note, everybody, I'm out.